Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Southern Hood Blogs. Have you thought about moving to Montgomery, Alabama? There's something wrong with you. Just kidding. So, when I was looking for real estate, I wanted to move somewhere cheaper so I could get a bigger house, so I could find somewhere that my money would go a lot longer. Of course, when you go for affordability, you skip out on a bunch of other stuff. There's no beaches here. It's definitely not the funnest place you can move to. No doubt about that. But I was seeing houses in Montgomery for sale for like $89,000. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, concrete block houses. And the same houses rent for $800. So if you're a buyer or a renter, the affordability of Montgomery may seem attractive, but is there a catch? Well, there is. And on this video, I'm going to explain to you guys so you guys can understand what the real deal is if you're thinking about moving to Montgomery. After all, I just moved to the Montgomery metropolitan area. I left Naples, Florida, the richest county in Florida. So leaving a beach town to come to Montgomery, Alabama, you'd think that overall my experience would be pretty disappointing as far as what I'm getting. But it's not, because what I got in housing is so much better than anything I could ever afford back where I was before. It could be the case for you that you are in a similar situation. You might be in New York or California, Florida. Hey, I've even met people here from parts of Texas that were telling me how much they're saving. Like, I met someone here recently who told me that their mortgage here is $500 less than when it was in Texas. So it's affordable. It's one of the most affordable, probably the most affordable metropolitan area in the entire country, if I'm not mistaken. A while back, Memphis, Tennessee, and Louisville, Kentucky had the title of the most affordable, but Louisville's increased, and I think Memphis has too, to a degree, leaving Montgomery as one of the cheapest places you can buy a house where you can rent. It's a very affordable place to live, and there are jobs here. My wife got a job doing fast food, and they started her at $9.25. However, the managers never showed up to train her, and after 2 days of the managers not showing up to train her, it kind of, she just decided this just wasn't going to work. Fast food is the bottom of the barrel anywhere, especially in Alabama. It seems like if you do end up in a job like that, you will, in fact, have to deal with a lot of negative people. One of the downsides that I found in this area is just how negative, not everybody, of course. I've met some great people. I've met people that have helped me so much here without knowing me. It's been incredible. But I've met people that just they haven't really, what would be the right way to say it? People that just really haven't given too much effort, dedication in life. They're totally negative, pessimistic persons, and they just they don't appreciate, since this is all they know. They don't appreciate how well they have. Like, I met somebody, and they're telling me about how horrible this live here, and I'm like, how much you pay for rent? Like $600. I'm like, there's people in Mexico paying more rent than you. In Mexico, you're in the United States. Like, a lot of people here, they complain about how they want to get paid $17, $18 an hour, but you forget about like people in Florida make $17, $18 an hour, or in other states. I'm like, yeah, but they're paying $2,000 for rent. So like, you're not really seeing the whole picture. People here want to get paid like people who are educated, and they're not, or they want to get paid like people in big cities, and they're not in a big city. They're not paying those prices. So an employer is not going to pay you an incredible amount of money if the real estate doesn't add up. Automatically, it doesn't add up. So hey, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed. We do all types of awesome videos, and if you are subscribed, make sure you hit the like button and share me on Facebook or something. Send it to somebody you know. Share it on your Facebook or whatever you use for social media. Let's get the word out there. Let's get this channel to grow so we can do a better job. The more this channel grows, the more we can do. Anyways, I did it. I moved to this metropolitan area. Originally, I was looking at Perry Hill, and I liked Perry Hill because it looked nice on Google Earth, that it would be nice to live there. And then you get there, and you realize a lot of these neighborhoods in Montgomery, the houses are going to look really nice. Don't let that confuse you. Yeah, like I looked at, demographical maps, and I figured, well, like, I live in Florida, and Florida, if an area is white, it's usually really wealthy, clean area. Here in Alabama, it doesn't matter. A white area could be nice, a white area could be bad, a black area could be nice, a black area could be bad. I went to some places today on the east side of Montgomery that were like really wealthy black areas. So back in Florida where I was, that's unheard of. So the way you're going to try to judge the city, you're going to be wrong. So your understanding of how things work in New York or Florida or wherever you're at, that understanding of how statistics and how it translates into like real life situations, totally like irrelevant. The same thing goes for whatever you look at on Google, Realtor and all that stuff, or rent websites. What you see on the ground and what you get on the internet are going to be two totally different things. To where like all the research we did research. It was great that we did the research, but once we hit the ground, all the research that we did on this metropolitan area was completely invalid. Starting off with Facebook groups, we met people that lived there. Figured, let me go on Facebook, find somebody who lives here, and they'll guide me in the right direction. So I found somebody on Facebook, and I asked them some questions, very specific questions, and I get on the ground, and their answers were really incorrect. So it seems like people here, their perspective isn't the same as yours. So what you might think is great, they might think is horrible. And what they think is horrible, you might think is great. And with that, it's going to be really hard for you to find third-party opinions on what this place is really like, because perspectives are going to be different. To me, moving here was like moving to a different country. It's been like that much of a difference. It's a totally different world. Now, when you look at the city, Perry Hill is the first place that I looked at. It's a white area, and I heard that Alabama was also a very messed up place. Very false. Hasn't been the case, but I figured, okay, I have to end up in a white area because I figured that mattered. It doesn't. Now where I live in, I live in a white area. A block or two away is a black area, and the black area is actually nicer than the white area. So it doesn't matter here in Alabama like that. So I brought my Florida understanding of how things work, and it was very just wrong. It doesn't work out here. Well, anyways, I figured, okay, it's a white area, Perry Hill, so I would be okay there, because I thought it would be like what everybody told me about this place, which is not the case. The houses looked clean, the neighborhood looked amazing. I get in there in the morning, 10 in the morning, and it's beautiful. The birds are chirping, it's quiet. I'm thinking, wow, what an amazing neighborhood. Go in there on a weekend at night, and it's a whole different world. Everybody's sleeping at 10 in the morning or working or I don't know what. Just make sure that whatever neighborhood, if you're going to end up in the city of Montgomery, that you spend a lot of time in the neighborhood at night, not just at 10 o'clock in the morning when there's nothing going on. The only areas that I would really recommend in the metropolitan area, everything's just about outside of city limits of Montgomery. Other than the east side of Montgomery is really nice, and some places are really hit or miss. But around Taylor Road is really nice if you can afford to get into there. Even anywhere when you go past east of east or that area, is kind of nice. Perry Hill looks beautiful, and it's a white neighborhood that's beautiful, and it's really crappy as far as crime, people stealing stuff, people breaking into your cars. And I met some people that live in that neighborhood, and they were honest about everything, and I realized it really wasn't the place for me. The same thing can be said about some places on the west side. There's neighborhoods like on the west side, south of downtown. These areas are mostly African American. They look beautiful. The houses are beautiful. They're beautiful, giant houses. I mean, I did a live stream, and my subscribers at night were like, "Wow, look at the size of it. It looks nice, but it's not a place you want to live." And that's what's confusing about Montgomery. Yeah, you can buy a really nice looking house for a really great price, but you don't want to live in those neighborhoods. It goes beyond the house, basically. So what I recommend is, if you're looking at the Montgomery area, that you look into Millbrook, Prattville, or Pike Road, or off of Taylor somewhere. You're either going to be really far to the east or north of the river. For the most part, most of Montgomery, it just seems like there's too much crime. Anytime anything happens, like if there's a carnival a while back and there were shootings and fighting, anything they do as far as events, even like in the suburbs, even like if there's an event, like you just don't put yourself in an environment out here, because it is. And they say that Montgomery has the lowest crime rate of any large city in Alabama, but it's Alabama. Like the other large cities aren't doing much better, so don't let that confuse you. Overall, I would say that it's a great place to work, and affordability is really what this place is going to offer you. You're not going to get paid a whole lot. You will find a job here, that's for sure. You're not going to get paid a whole lot, but like the affordability of this place is what makes it awesome. Whether you're a buyer or a renter, if you're a renter, I would want to be like probably on the east side of town. Millbrook and Prattville also have a lot of apartments. Seems like the apartments in Millbrook might be a little bit quieter than the ones in Prattville. These are really nice new apartments. When you look at the news, a lot of stuff goes down in the apartments, it seems like. Well, anyways, if you're thinking about Montgomery, it's definitely a inner city place. It's definitely, there's crime. Definitely at night, you want to be extraordinarily careful. Like, once it gets dark, it's clear. You know, like, stay out. It is a dangerous place at times, but should that discourage you from moving here if you're looking for affordability? It depends on your circumstances. Like, this isn't a place I want to recommend to somebody to retire if they're wealthy. It's a place where, like, if you're like a young couple, you just got married, you want to save money, you want to pay really low rent so that you can put more money towards saving, then this is a really great place for you. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. This isn't perfect for everybody. I think the reason this place is, the metropolitan area has worked well for me is because I like history. I like architecture. I do have an appreciation for the history of the place. A lot of people don't have an appreciation for history, but I do. I love old buildings. I love, all the cool historical stuff that this area has to offer. So I really like the area. For me, for my personal taste, again, it's definitely not the most fun place you can move to. It worked out for me well because I got an awesome house for an awesome price. I have been able to find work, and that's all a poor person can really obtain to, and being able to save money, because if you can lower your eating expense, you can lower your rent, all of your overhead, then you can start saving some money. Like you can actually, I feel that here, even though I'm going to make 30 or 40% less than I did in Florida, I'll be able to save money every month. Where in Florida, whatever I made, I spent. Made, spent, made, spent, made, spent. Of course, that's going to take a lot of sacrifice and adjustment and all that. But it's a good place for a young couple, let's say, that doesn't have the best education and is looking to just pay low rent so they can save money for a down payment. That's why, I think a lot of people have left Montgomery. Not so much because the place is all that bad, but because they're able to get up and move forward to a better place, like a new house in the suburbs or something. Where in a lot of places, people in the inner city don't move. Like, I do see, like there's places that I go to where I'm like, wow, there's no way. Like, if you're in Pahokee, Florida, and you don't have a car, there's no jobs right in the immediate vicinity, it would be scary to live there. But here, like, there are possibilities here. Like, you can make it. Like, it does seem like a place where you can make it, even if you don't have all that much talent. If you don't try to drive a new car, don't try to blow money on dumb crap. If you just find a cheap place to live, work, even like the most uneducated person can be able to save money here if they really wanted to. So I think it's a place that, in that sense, also I've noticed that this area, people here aren't really trying too hard. A lot of people are just, they get with a comfort level, and they're just living day to day. They're not too concerned with their future, so they're not really trying all that hard. And that's not bad if you're a go-getter. If you're a hustler, a go-getter, a hard worker, that's good because there's no competition. Like, when you go, if you want to start a small business or something, there's not all that much competition. Like, it is hard to find people here to work, to do stuff. Like in Florida, even though in Florida there's more money and all, you can find somebody to do anything on the spot. Here, they're fighting for the jobs. Like, you put a post here on Facebook, like I did it back in Florida, and I saw other people do it. In Florida, you want a landscaping guy, put it out on Facebook, I need a landscaping guy. You'll have 50 people send you messages ready to do it, fighting over who's going to do it for the cheapest. That doesn't exist here. Here, I had my pickup truck got stuck in the woods, and I just needed somebody to pull me out, and it took me like 3 days to find somebody. And then finally, the person that came along was a Spanish person. I feel like where I live now, like 5% of the population is Hispanic, and probably 80% of the work that I've had done on my house has been Hispanics. Not because I'm purposely looking for Hispanics to work for me, but just it seems like everybody else isn't all that interested in working. And So it doesn't seem like people here are really trying to hard. I think this is a great place for Latinos. Latinos in other parts like Florida, California, Texas are just getting exploited and burned out, man. And I think here, because there's less people trying to like work that hard, if you're like me, you're a really driven person, you can get a lot more jobs, have less competition, and be more appreciated in the labor force, because it doesn't feel like uh, there's that pressure here, like that competition for work. So overall, it is, yeah, you can find jobs here, and there's not a competitive work environment. Working environments, as a general thing, can be, especially like in fast food, can be really bad. You have a lot of people that are just down on their, like, they're just pessimists. You know, you run into a lot of people here that are like very pessimistic about their outlook. It's not like their life sucks. It's like they think their life sucks, but really it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really try too hard. I'm not saying that's everybody, because I've definitely met a lot of people that are really driven here, and they're doing really well. And I want more people that are driven to come here. This city needs more people, really. Like, Montgomery needs more people that are go-getters and hustlers that are willing to really move faster. It seems like business here moves really slow, and sometimes certain people need things done right away if they're busy, and it's really hard for them to keep up with how laid back a lot of the labor force is. So if you're a driven person, you can do really well here with a small business. I've just moved here from Florida, and I'm doing really well with my small business. And all I have is like a Google page or something. It's not like I'm really trying that hard to advertise. So it does seem that it's a good place to start a small business. Again, this is not New York City. This is not Nashville. Definitely not Miami or Tampa. This isn't like the funnest place you're gonna move to. But if you're serious about saving money, buying a home for the first time, and just not being enslaved to the city life, you know, then this works. There's no commutes here that are traffic bumper to bumper. Like, I can fly from the suburbs to downtown Montgomery in like 20 minutes. It's like roads don't have a lot of traffic. Job markets are not extremely competitive. So if you're just looking for a simple life, it'll work. I would definitely avoid the more inner city neighborhoods. Just like any other inner city, there's a lot of crime. There's sections of Montgomery, especially on the west side and some parts of the south side, where entire neighborhoods are 40% of houses are empty and like neglected and stuff. And so definitely you don't want to move in a neighborhood like that. And there's other neighborhoods, like I said, like Perry Hill, where on the surface they look beautiful, well-kept homes and all, but gosh, man, there's a lot of environment. And you know, if you leave your car unlocked one night, you'll get it checked. You know, so overall, I would just, for the most part, tell somebody that was considering Montgomery area is, if you're able to rent first, to do it. Unless you really have a good idea, or you know, if you're gonna end up in the suburbs, and you know, like, your budget can take you out of the city of Montgomery. If your budget restricts you just to the city of Montgomery, you need to be really careful in the neighborhood you're gonna be looking at. Let's say you find a house in Montgomery and you're not too sure about the neighborhood. Just because it looks nice doesn't mean it's good. I would just, instead of driving around the city, I would just spend a lot of time in that particular house, nights and weekends, before you buy it, because you may have some regrets. And pretty much you'll get a killer deal on a house here. Pretty much what you can put here for a house is a down payment somewhere else. So that's what we did. Instead of putting a down payment on a house somewhere else, we just used to buy the whole house outright. So you will get some good deals. People here are very friendly. If you're coming from a big city, you're going to have to adjust your attitude, adjust your driving, adjust your manners, because people here are very friendly. And one thing that I have talked to the locals about that they don't like about people moving here is that. And I see it myself. I'm like, you know, some of these people from other places, man, they're running in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? This is a southern place. Whether you're hiring somebody or you're working for somebody else, everybody appreciates a hard worker, but don't expect people to rush. Don't expect people to go out of their way to help you if they're, you know, tied up with something. It's different. Like, And don't expect that you're gonna like be able to like have that crazy driving around fast and all that city crap and cutting somebody off in line, like all that city crap. You really gotta leave that behind. If you're gonna move here, you're gonna have to adjust your mannerisms, and if you don't adjust it voluntarily, somebody will adjust it for you. This is Alabama. You're gonna have to mind your manners. You're gonna have to be respectful, and pretty much if you're a jerk and you want to continue being a jerk, then you can do it in the city where it's okay. If you're gonna run into issues here, I can just guarantee you that. You have to be more self-aware. A lot of times, people from big cities, they think they're more affluent. They think they're smarter than everybody else. Um, you're not gonna get very far. And believe me, if you are a jerk here, you're gonna pay a jerk fee. People here are going to charge you a jerk fee. They're gonna charge you an out-of-state fee. They're gonna charge you a I don't like you fee, and your life will become miserable here if you're not making an effort to look at yourself, how you're driving, how you're treating other people. Because again, this is Alabama, and one of the things that I've noticed is I needed to make adjustments. I'm already a well-mannered person, but I needed to make adjustments immediately. And you may too if you're moving here from another place. You're gonna just have to be more self-aware to your mannerisms, to how your politeness and all that. And you can never be too polite. At first, I did find people that would not respond to your politeness. You keep being nice to everybody, and eventually, when they're ready, they'll open up. I moved into my neighborhood. I waved at all my neighbors. And one piece of advice I can give you, if you are making this move from a smaller rural place, you wave at everybody, and when they're ready to wave at you, they'll wave at you. When they're ready to talk to you, they'll talk to you. Don't you be the one trying to start conversations. Don't be the one trying to start interactions with people. You just wave at everybody, and when they're ready, they'll wave back at you. If they don't wave at you, you keep waving back at them. Don't be the one to initiate interaction with people, but also don't be a jerk. Continue with your mannerisms, and it will take you a long way. Maybe at first you may not see the results of it, but in the long run you will. So if you're moving from a big city to this city, I've already noticed, man. I was out in traffic. I'm on Deatsville Highway, which is one lane each way. Lots of cars passing. This car from California was stopped on Deatsville Highway, which is there's cars coming through there. You can't stop there. They stopped to look at a house that's for sale. There's no for sale sign, but I know the houses are for sale because I watch real estate here. And then so that was like really rude. I had to wait like 2 minutes to be able to pass them. They're just blocking the road. They didn't pull into a driveway. They were literally blocking an active like country road where there's cars trying to go through there. They just stopped there and they didn't care about anybody else. They were just inconsiderate to everybody that was passing. And they drive by my street later on in the day, and I tried to stop them to give them my business card because I knew what they were doing, and they almost ran me over. My neighbors were there, and they're like, man, they saw the license plate from California, but like, we don't want them people moving here. I'm like, dude, I don't either, and I totally understand why they don't want these people moving here, because they're going to act like that. And keep in mind, I left Florida because people from other states ruined Florida for me. I don't have a problem with Florida. I loved what I had before. It's the people that came from other places that ruined it, and pretty much the same thing can happen here. So if you're gonna move here, learn some manners.